Hey everybody, it's Rudy bringing you another League of Legends commentary. This time I'm going to be playing Evelynn, who I actually did not appreciate. I didn't think she was a very good champion. I had seen a couple good Eves, and I've seen a personal friend of mine Frisk play him very well, but I don't see her as a strong team fight presence until I actually started playing her. I've become quite bored of League of Legends for the fact that I tend to go to the same carries, I tend to go to the same tanks and the same mages every single time, even with new champions coming out. I've got my favorites and I tend to go to those, and I've actually started picking up champions that I haven't played much of, and Eve is definitely one of those. So here you see, I was actually playing Jungle Eve. I take Smite Flash, and the only real reason I'm doing that is to make up for her horrible early game. Now, the reason Eve has a horrible early game is because she does need a few items to make herself very useful, and she can be shut down pretty easily in a lane, and jungling kind of takes care of that. So here you see I was working on blue. Renekton's helping me out. Renekton was going back towards top, and he saw that Shin and Warwick were coming in here. I did have the golem inside the brush so that the Warwick could not actually smite it from me, and that probably helped me out greatly. But what he did do is force me out of there so I couldn't get my level 2 immediately off of blue, but not a big deal. After I finished up the rest of my jungle around level 3, I saw that the bottom lane was in trouble. I make my way down there. Now, Evelynn has a strong presence for a couple different reasons. One of those is she's a total gold sink. She ruins the economy for a team that tries to overcompensate for her. As you'll see in this game, Oracles definitely probably hurt their team in the long run. That's 400 gold a pop, and you have to activate it, so even if you die, you've wasted the 400 gold. It does counter wards, that's fine, but you gotta kill quite a few wards to make it worth your time. So the other thing is that Eve is never actually in a lane. You see her, she might stealth up in a brush. Anytime she enters the brush, you don't know where she's going. It looked like I was actually going to head back towards my jungle or back towards middle lane here, and so Rocket pushed up just a hair, just enough that I was outside of tire range, and I felt comfortable to go ahead and stun for Pantheon. I stun, Pantheon leaps in here, and we actually finish her off. And that puts me at 0-0-2 at 6 minutes, so although I've had a really terrible start as Evelynn in the jungle because of Warwick kind of messing me up a little bit at blue, I was able to make that up with assists and kills. So here you see middle. The thing that Evelynn does early is that people have staple items that they like to go for in their core builds, and whether that's going to be like a Tear the Goddess on Ezreal to build into a Manamune, maybe it's your Ginsu's on Jax. I don't know what your staple item is for whatever character. All I'm saying is that people do not want to invest 400 gold early into Oracles. The next best thing you can do is actually buy pink wards, but a lot of times people are not going to gank lanes when the opponent has seen where you've placed it. One thing that Eve does really well is she's just a complete douchebag. If you think Eve is gone, she could be right on your heels. It's one of those deals where I just got so tired of somebody playing this character because I was just like, okay, you're an asshole. No one in their right mind would play this character, just to succeed. You're playing this character for me to hate you. There's nothing more to it. So Eve does create this economic pressure on the opposing teams to complete their item builds, but she also creates a fear of constant ganks due to her ability to stealth it for longer periods of time. But the thing that just absolutely blew my mind about playing Eve is that she has this fantastic mid to late game that most players never see. If you don't play Eve, go out and purchase her and try her. She's just absolutely ridiculous once you hit maybe like level 12 or 13. You start getting your items, and you're just going to be ridiculous if played correctly. Now I stress that because there are so many terrible Eves out there. I can't even compare that ratio to anything else. How many Eves do you see personally? They're just absolutely horrible. And then how many Eves do you see and you're just like, wow, that player knew what they were doing. Why does everyone else suck with this character? And it all comes down to builds, it comes down to masteries, it comes down to adaptation, and taking advantage of certain situations. And I'm not really going to go too much into that. This isn't really a guide. This is supposed to be more of a commentary, and we're actually about 4 minutes into it at this point, and I need to go ahead and start talking more about the gameplay, less about the character. As I always get quite a few questions regarding my masteries and rune choices, I did go 9-0-21 for the masteries in this video, and I am using an armor pin page. I like using her in the jungle as I mentioned earlier, and getting the early wriggles helps sustain her throughout the jungle, and combined with the cheap, hard-hitting sheen, this can give her a sharp boost in performance approaching the mid-game. I will have a link below to a guide written by my friend Frisk that I did follow personally for the last few weeks playing Evelynn, and I will suggest that you check it out as well. It's very spot on for the AD build, and I can personally say it works very effectively. There are a few differences between his opinions and mine on a few very small tweaks on this character, one of them being namely I believe that she needs to stay in the jungle where she's most effective at ganking lanes. I promise I'm ready to start talking about Evelynn gameplay and not so much about the character. I did want to stress the few points that I made already. But this does kind of synergize well with the fact that she doesn't have a great early game. There wasn't a whole lot she missed there. I jungled, I stealthed up, I got a few kills. I'm 3-1 and 2. I caught Shin in my jungle, got red buff, we got an early dragon, and now I'm heading top to stop Soraka, Sivir, and Warwick from pressuring top tower anymore. Now, as I did stealth up through this brush, I thought I was totally safe standing within this group of opponents, but actually Warwick ults me, meaning that he had a vision ward. Renekton actually came in there and stunned him for me, and I got out alright. I made it back to the tower, and I realized that my best chance at getting an assist was to kill this Warwick as soon as Pantheon leaps in. I flash in, get a few hits on him, and get a stun so that I help out the team, and if you watch my green health bar, you may need to rewatch it a couple of times just to see how much fluctuation actually goes on, but personally this is the most staple example I could find of an Evelynn steamrolling through a team fight. As I make my way through their jungle, I find their Ezreal and I stun him. I start working on him, but about that time Shin ults onto him and I realize that I need to get out of there. I make my way back towards the safety of my team and I forget that Sivir and Soraka are above me. Sivir hits me with a nice boomerang, but I got the assist from the Ezreal so that gave me more health again. I get the re-stealth, and Soraka knows I'm around, so she starfalls. I get the stun on her, and my team works on her, and we get the kill on her right here. Luckily, the health that I gained from the Soraka kill was enough to keep me alive through another Sivir boomerang, leaving me at about 250 health. If I hadn't gotten the health back from that assist, I would have died. The big thing to remember with Evelynn is that you need to focus her in team fights, but the other thing is that if she gets away and someone on your team dies, expect her to come back with full health from the assist. She can continue going and going and going in these team fights as long as you don't shut her down. So as naturally greedy as I am playing Evelynn, after picking up the Sheen, I thought I was going to be able to kill the Soraka. I did see that there was an Oracle's Warwick coming up from the backside, meaning that he spent 400 gold to actually get a kill on me. I'm not going to split the assist gold, I'm just going to let Soraka go ahead and take me out. Here's another bad situation. I was actually going to go help out Pantheon because it looked like he was in a lot of trouble in her jungle, only to be chased down by Warwick. I realized once Warwick was showing up, there was no chance for me to actually help him without dying. Pantheon ults out of there, realizing there's no one that can actually stop the ult, and he ends up living. So pro play by our Pantheon, but you gotta realize the opposing team at this point has spent 800 gold. Warwick's got an Oracle's and Shin's got an Oracle's, and I'm watching that blue pretty heavily. I realize that Shin might be doing it again, but I did just ward it, so if there is an opportunity, I'm going to save the next smite to go get it. So sneaking down towards river, trying to avoid the Oracle's Warwick to show him where I'm going. I'm trying to get over there to Shin, who's been working on blue buff for quite some time. Shin's not a fantastic jungler, he does it okay, especially if you're not ruined for it, you don't have smite, it's going to be kind of slow, so thank you very much for the hard work you just put in there. The only real problem is that now Warwick knows that if he intercepts me here at river, he's going to get some sight on me and they're possibly going to get a free gank and get the blue buff back. So they chase us down into our jungle, I double up back into the brush, I stealth up, I'm ready to go for them, although they've got the clairvoyance there, unless the Oracle's present, they can't actually see me, and they're just going to go ahead and 5-man pressure mid-tower. They have a much stronger poking team with Ezreal and Sivir, and Soraka to back them up with a heal. There's not a whole lot we can actually do to stop an advance. We need a really good initiation, and we need to take out those Oracles. So due to just a hair of overextension from Renekton, he ends up getting poked down by Sivir, Ezreal, and Warwick, and it looks like we're going to end up losing this tower. The biggest problem with our team composition is that Renekton was our closest thing to a tank, but this was the day after they nerfed tanky DPS, so we really didn't have a tank. We needed one overextension to make our team fights go our direction, and so Corki goes in here trying to fend off our turret, trying to get some AoE down, overextends just a little bit, Warwick holds some Shin taunts, and we start working on Warwick, trying to stun him, get him off, and it looks like we're not going to win this encounter. Two of us back off, they actually do end up killing our Akali. Pantheon, Corki, and Evelynn are now back on the second tower. We try to get the stun on Warwick there to get him down, but this is a perfect example of juggling tower hits. You see Shin taking 4 tower hits there, Sivir taking 2, Ezreal's about to take 2 or 3 here, and then Soraka takes 2, realizing that she needs to, and then Shin takes another one. So that's a perfect example, and you know what? If you did well, I'm going to go ahead and say it. That was a perfect example of how to juggle tower hits when necessary. Although they overextended, although they were 2 towers deep, with the healer and with the Soraka's ult, they were able to live through that and win the team fight. Telling my team that Greedy Warwick might be going for my blue next, we actually catch him off guard, allowing us to take care of one of those pesky oracles. One of the big things on the summoners is that Flash allows you, as an Evelynn player, to make the best of your stuns. You can flash in to initiate, you don't have to be running up behind them, and that allows you to work around oracles. Frist has a nice article about that in his guide, if you check it out. But it's one of those deals where you want to go for the guy at the Scout Oracles, you want to kill it, but it's not your priority in a team fight. It always needs to be order of carries. So here we did find Sivir in the bush because we had just done a dragon. We saw her pushing bottom. We thought she had based. She actually probably thought she had made it out right there because she stood still after the Phosphorus Bomb. But we'll gladly take a free kill in that situation. Here I flash over the wall, trying to tank the tower for Renekton on his dive, thinking we'll kill Ezreal and I'll get the assist and I'll have plenty of health. But Shin ults on top of Ezreal, Shin taunts both of us, we barely kill Ezreal, and the tower almost works down me as Evelynn, and our Akali flashes out of there. We ended up trading 1-for-1 on that. After killing Ezreal top, I purchased my Spirit Visage and I was looking to gank alone Sivir in bottom lane, but as I was running there I found Warwick running up river to confront my team pushing mid-tower. Chasing Warwick out of the brush, trying to keep him out of the team fight, I stun him early, hoping to make sure that he'll ult on me. Instead, Akali hops to him and he hops to Pantheon. Pantheon stuns him, Soraka heals with her ultimate, Warwick flashes away thinking he'll get away, and it refreshes my ultimate. I start chasing and focusing on Ezreal, we take him out of the fight very quickly, and then turn to Sivir who showed up just in time to die. We finish her off, and that gave me a double kill, and we start working on Shin. We're slowing him and he's not going to get away until he flashes. He flashes out of her range and I can't actually catch him. At this point I turn to Soraka, get a few more slows on her, kill her underneath the tower, and this time I don't die underneath the tower because of the life gain between my ultimate and Spirit Visage. The synergy between that item and that ultimate is just absolutely absurd, just so fantastic, it's awesome. Try it out if you haven't. So here Shin, instead of walking maybe 30 steps, I don't know if he was trying to bait us or what, but we are a tower diving team with Akali and me. I run in there to take the tower hits, we end up taking him out, that's the ace. This is going to go ahead and at least give us the tower and maybe the inhibitor. And we really thought this was going to be the boost that our team needed to go ahead and finish off this game. We were sitting neck and neck for so long, but that's about the time when Warwick drops a pink ward on our Baron ward, kills our ward, and our Renekton DC, and he is our only source of a tank. We have an absolute terrible team composition without him, and we needed him here. So for some reason, who knows what they were thinking, but they decided they needed to go ahead and push middle. Instead of going and doing Baron, which I was totally afraid they were going to do, and we couldn't stop it, 5v4 without a tank, there was no way we could stop it. They decided they go ahead and need to push that second mid lane tower. At this point we were hoping for an overextension. We have no tank, we have no initiation. This is bad. The only thing I can really do is dance around their team and just try to make sure I can get one initiation on a squishy. I see an opportunity on Sivir. I just poke a little bit, not trying to actually work anyone down. Shin did buy another Oracle, so I'm trying to dance around him, make sure I don't get caught. And we don't need to fight anywhere that's not a tower right now, and I'm trying to stress this to my team. We're 4v5. Renekton did just come back, but he's not yet to us, so we're not safe at this point. We see that they CV'd on Dragon, and we think that we might be able to snag him there if we can. I'm kind of dancing around up at the top. You can see there I'm not going directly in. I'd like to get a smite steal on this if I could. I'm trying to stay away from Shin as best I can. I end up missing the smite. Warwick got it, but I got the stun on Shin. They go ahead and exhaust me. He goes ahead and does his Randuin's. Warwick ults on top of me. I flash out. I come back on top of Warwick. I get the assist, which gives me lots of health and a fresh ultimate. Corki goes ahead and Valkyrie's over the ledge. We're chasing him down. We're trying to catch up to him. Chasing as best as I can. I go ahead and pop my ult one more time because I see that Ezreal is alone. I'm chasing him in stealth. If I can get one ability on him, I'm going to get a stun. Pantheon ults up the lane. Corki Valkyrie's over the wall. We start working on him. He slows. Pantheon stuns. I kill steal like a pro, and we finish off the inhibitor. Thank you, Renekton, for coming back. You made all the difference in the world there. That was awesome. As we're working on this, you can see that Eve, I'm sitting there spamming my Q because there is an internal cooldown per ability on your Q on Eve or any character with it using a Sheen. But if you can stand there and tank the creep wave to your side as you sit there and pound on it, you'll actually get the Sheen proc as quickly as possible. After we did the inhibitor in middle lane, we go ahead and do Baron. We knock it out real quick, and that might be enough to push for the win. After a very quick Baron and I purchased my Trinity Force, it's time to go ahead and push the lanes. While two of the opposing team's AD carries are in middle, I try to split push bottom while the rest of my team turns their attention towards the top lane. After dodging a Shin taunt, I get back into the brush to get a re-stealth in case he chases. When Renekton shows up on the left side, we're ready to 2v3 this, as long as I can stun Soraka. When he initiates, I flash in to stun Soraka, and we both turn our attention onto Ezreal. Exhaust to reduce Renekton's damage, and Shin using his Randuin's to counter my activated ult was definitely enough for me to give up chasing on this Ezreal, and just try to come back and push the tower. After I get a re-stealth, I start checking out what's going on underneath the tower, and as you can see that in top lane, our AD carries have gone ahead and pushed the top tower, so they're putting lots of pressure there, and probably won't be a lot of people here. I find Soraka, and I start putting pressure on her when Renekton comes in to finish her off. You can see that Shin was AFK there, or typing, or something. I don't know what his excuse was, or what he was doing, but he definitely cost her that death, and he definitely cost them losing this bottom tower plus the inhibitor. Now, while top was being pressured, they couldn't actually come down here and defend this, and so Shin really put them in a really bad situation. I don't want to say that any one individual on their team cost them this loss. I want to say that it was our teamwork and our good team fights that made it go in our direction, but that was definitely a clutch play to mess up there, Shin. I go ahead and I find Sivir by herself. I stun her just outside of tower range, and I finish her off, but Warwick ults onto me. Both towers do actually take some shots at me, and I think I'm going to die, but instead Corki pushes him away from me, and I think I'm going to be alright. You can see here how quickly I can actually burst down a squishy champion. Soraka comes in there to silence me to stop my damage on her, which is probably okay because she bubbled and I would have just been spamming Q anyways, but that's just an example of how quickly she can take down a carry. I'm moving in here on Warwick. I start working on him, start bounding on him. You can see that even a thicker champion like Warwick just takes some pretty heavy beatings, especially if you can get those ultra creeps with you. I come in here to help take out Sivir, to no avail. We go ahead and take out this last inhibitor back in middle that has respawned, and it looks like this is going to be the game. The problem is I didn't have my Guardian Angel and I had 2k gold. I needed to go ahead and do that. So this will conclude the game for the Evelynn commentary. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like this, please click the like button. If you'd like to see more videos from me, go ahead and subscribe. I'm going to try to have more consistent videos out quicker. The end of the semester is coming up again. And thank you very much for watching. This is Veruda. Hopefully I'll catch you out there. Thanks, guys.